know, if it weren't for Ice Cube, I wouldn't have got radicalized. I never would have read the autobiography of Malcolm X. I never would have got as deep into the teachers that I got into. You know, I saw intelligence in a T-shirt and a fitted cap.
Yes, sir.
You know, and a lot of, I'm gonna tell you, man, there is a stigma on big black men.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm not security.
Right.
I'm not somebody you just gonna, you know, you gonna handle this though I'm an afterthought. You know, and I press the line to let people know I'm intelligent because it's cool to be intelligent.
Yeah. Big Boy's Neighborhood, beautiful day in the neighborhood, ladies and gentlemen. I've been waiting on this one right here, man. Killer Mike in the neighborhood. Welcome to the neighborhood,
man,
bro.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Man, I'm happy to have you here, bro. Like, real talk, man. Like, you represent us so well.
Thank you so much.
Man, I'm telling you, anytime, Mike, I see you at a talk on a panel, I already feel confident because I know that you show up to blow up, bro.
Man, thank you.
You know, and when I say you've been representing us so well, I'm talking about for years.
Yeah, man.
You know, and now when there's so many opportunities for us to have the, you know, different voices in place.
Yep.
Thank you, bro.
I got to thank my grandfather, man.
Really, though?
Willie Burke, he gave me 3 instructions. Take care of yourself and your sisters. Don't embarrass me and your mama name, and don't embarrass black people. So
I heard that,
bro.
bro.
I try my best.
Yeah,
if I mess up, I'll just say I'm sorry.
You've been, please forgive me. It wasn't on purpose, man.
It wasn't on purpose.
Believe that. So how was household growing up, man? Was there music in the household, or?
Yeah, my mother had me at 16 years old.
Okay.
And she married. I have 2 dads. I have a bio and a non-bio dad. She married my non-bio dad at like 19, 20. And when she married.
Wait. She married him when?
When she was 19, 20.
Oh, I thought you said 19, 20. I'm about to say, man, how about what the hell?
No, but the people who raised me were born in 1922 and 1932.
So you got that good.
Yeah, my
that
grandparents
real,
raised me and my sisters. Yeah,
really though.
Yeah, so they raised me in a neighborhood called Collier Heights. That was created in 1946 by black people for black people. So they gentrified poor whites. They bought their neighborhood at a 30% markup. Push poor whites out, and that's the neighborhood I grew up in.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I wish that could happen a little bit more.
All you got to do is do it. All you got to do is organize.
Yeah, put it together for real. Stop talking about waiting on the next person to get
like
so.
Kwame Ture said, we should be in a constant state of organizing.
Really though, man. So you growing up, and you say music is in the household.
Yeah, gospel and blues.
Okay.
Like my grandmother listened to gospel. She didn't let us listen to secular music when we were young. My grandfather.
Did you have to sneak and listen
to the blues? Yeah, I had to have to sneak. But my grandfather, you know, he married a church girl, so he would play the blues, make her blush. She would play the guitar, tease her, you know what I mean? So music was a big part. You know, my grandmother, I loved gospel because we went to these little small Pentecostal churches, and many times the people playing in the Pentecostal churches was playing in the clubs the night before my mama was going to. So I learned to love music early.
Hey, man, and when you say I learned to love music early, bro, anyone that hears your music, you can hear it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, like you're not a child of, you're a child of music. You know, some people say, man, I'm a child. And I think that's the same way I get down, man. I love music.
Yeah,
I analyze music. I heard music.
Yeah.
You know, it was 8 of us growing up, Mike. So anytime I would put on headphones, I would listen, and I read credits, and I looked at what the wax looked like with the little messages scratched in it.
Rap nerd, man. I read the back of Curtis Mayfield album. My mother left me a record collection when she moved out, so I listened to so many albums of Mayfield, man. You know, just in the eyes, I'm thankful that my mother she's an artist by nature herself. You know what I mean? So she encouraged it with me. You know, I remember I told her I wanted to be a rapper, and she was like, she's smoking a joint. F it, let's do it. Then.
I heard that.
She never put me in the studio enough, but she encouraged.
Hey man, I would think with having like blues and gospel in the household, I was thinking that, man, when you said I want to be a rapper, was that because if you don't grow up on secular music, you know,
man, Roxanne Shante, Run DMC, Fat Boys. When I got that Ice-T, Ryan Pays.
Oh my God, man,
that Ryan Pays and that NWA set me off. Like Cube has been such a. If you listen to my stylistically, you can tell I'm from the school of Cube and Scarface. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Tone wise, I almost sound like him because that's how you emulate.
Hey man, and we gonna get to it, but that Michael album, bro. You and I'm not saying this because you're here, bro. You are lyrically flipping.
Thank you, man.
On that album. And anybody that don't know or must have forgot, because we'll see you do so many other beautiful things that when you said, man, I gotta make this album, you really went in.
Yeah, I'm an MC. Like I you know, I appreciate people for appreciating me for my intelligence or my advocacy work and business stuff. That's all cool. But that 9-year-old boy on the cover with the buck teeth and the horns and the halo, all he wanted to be was an MC.
Hey, man, why the title Michael? That it could have been anything else.
I've never introduced people to me. They've always known me in proxy You know, I was a signee of Outkast. You know, shouts out when I got then I went on a mixtape run. Me and my man T.I. gave me a home in Grand Hustle. You know, I'm one half of Run the Jewels, but people had never met Michael. You know, so people would take their assumptions if they see me on TV, they assume I'm this. If they see me, but I just wanted to introduce people to Michael.
And when you say I wanted to introduce them to Michael, what does that mean to you?
That means if you listen to the record, if you press play and listen through, you're hearing the narrative of that 9-year-old boy in that city growing up together. You know, you're hearing a teenager who was caught in the middle of the drug war. Who, you know, there's a line on there where I say, I'm essentially apologizing to someone. I said, I didn't realize the money you paid me was meant for your children. Now they just po. And that happened.
Say it again.
Yeah, he said, I did not know the money you paid me was meant for your kids, and now they're just po. And I seen at Grand Flow, it's a store in the middle of my neighborhood, like a Sitco gas station. That's where all was trapped at. And I remember seeing a guy who I used to serve, and I told him, I said, man, I'm sorry. You know, I didn't realize I was a child. And he said, man, big dog, I ain't have no business asking no 12-year-old for drugs anyway. Yeah. You know, so it's like if you get asked for drugs enough and you want some joints, you're gonna figure out how to get some.
Yeah, man.
You know, so I was just, you know, if people who seen Snowfall, stuff like that, I was there as that wave rolled in. And it corrupted all of us. It corrupted the neighborhood. You went from being able to pay the actual car wash guy $20-$30 to wash a car to paying somebody who's addicted $5.
Yeah.
We treated each other like slaves. We didn't treat each other well. So it was just my you know, ability to make a reckoning with me and my past, the goods, the bads. I've had children by women.
But you didn't run from it.
No, you got to look in the mirror, man. You got to look in the mirror. So I did it. You know, I did it. I did not, even if I didn't understand it. I had to have an abortion as a child. You know what I mean? I just didn't understand the gravity of situations. But as you get older, men a lot of times carry a burden. You know, we carry, you know, people think we don't care, we callous. Men carry a lot. They got to go in the bathroom sometimes and let a few tears run, because on the other side, they got a woman and children to take care of. They got hurt and heart, and they're not trying to burden other people with it. So I understood that if I told my story truthfully, it'd connect. You know, one of my first shows in Charleston on this run, white boy came up to me, man. He said, man, I'm from the Appalachian. You know, if people don't know, the Appalachian is one of the poorest parts of Lower Tennessee, the top of Georgia. And he said, man, I understood and felt every record, every word on every record, because we grew up poor. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, wow. I knew it would resonate with the worker class and the men and the women.
Are you hearing that a lot?
Yeah.
Especially, man, you like hands-on.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you sound like people can come up and talk to you, like we can touch you.
They do all the time.
Yeah. And so when you sound like that and you hear people come back and say, man, this is what I felt off of that.
It mean the world, man, looking at the shows, you see the couples that come. Yeah. You know, a dude and his old lady, you know what I mean? You see it's a beautiful experience. I tell people it's not an underground rap show. We going to church.
Yeah,
you know
man.
what I mean? We got the Midnight Revival, 5-person choir with me, DJ Trackstar. We had Warren Campbell out on the organ yesterday. Sir. I think Warren gonna come out today too.
Yeah, Warren probably had to get back too because he got other things to do.
Yeah, man, Warren's so raw, man. But yeah, man, I just wanted to. I want to. There's a place for the worker class in this country, and we've forgotten that. We've forgotten that in the big media. We've forgotten that in rap. We've forgotten that. Period. There's just lifestyles of the rich and famous, and that's fine.
Yeah,
but most people just making it. You know, they got a nice car they like, maybe an old school. They got some clean tennis shoes they wear on the weekend. I just wanted to rep for those brothers and sisters. Man. You know what I mean? So I'm glad my story resonates with them.
And when you say Michael, man, do you feel like Michael is peeling off layers for you too? Like when you say you apologize, does it feel therapeutic as well? Like
you have.
And starting with the man in the mirror too.
Yeah, that's what I said and shed tears. I shed tears every morning in the bathroom mirror, face to face with fate. Had to face my fears. It was me. I'm the reason that I failed. That was hell. Locked in self-guilt like jail. Lord, I cried, almost died empty inside. The devil whispers in your ear, you contemplate suicide. I tell you, I know. Promise on has been there before. It's pride before the fall is how I usually go. Looking at me, I was strong and proud as can be. Couldn't tell me nothing. I was hushing people, keeping it G. Heard my ancestors' voice, now they speaking through me. Sometimes my faith get fully shaken, I be weak as can be. Pray and repent, gather my strength, fast like it's Lent. The devil sent the storm to break me, but I ain't by a bent, won't by a bend. I've suffered and would do it again. Made it to the mountaintop, straight from the valley of sin. That's a testimony. You know?
Hey, man. Does that feel like it writes itself?
Yeah, well, I don't write it. I don't physically write. I'll get a pad and just scribble and play around. Like Maya Angelou said years ago, when she wrote, she would put jigsaw puzzles, crossword puzzles around her to give her conscious mind something to do and let her subconscious mind. So for me, when I go in the booth, I look at myself more as a conduit. You know, I don't really take credit.
So how do you do that? Like, if you don't write, what do you do? Because I see nowadays people are in their phone, but
Well, first I'm dyslexic.
Really?
So people got,
oh, okay.
I can't always read my own writing.
Right. Like, man, I was dropping jewels here. Damn it, like, man.
I remember my grandma, I got diagnosed like 11th grade. She say, because she would just say, read it again. Like, that was her thing. You know that ain't a D. You know that's a B. That's bear. That ain't D. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was,
But how, and staying on that, we'll get to the other part. Being dyslexic, right?
Yeah.
How do, and especially now, we talk more about things, you know what I'm saying? We talk more about therapy, about wellness, but that had to be like a lonely world because with that, people think that it's a learning disability, and sometimes you can't put a title on what it is. Yeah. What was that
by
the
time I was diagnosed, I had figured out.
Right. The pattern of how to get past things.
Yeah. I had some great teachers at Collier Heights, Fred Douglass High School, and they were just patient with me. My grandmother just was relentless on reading. Right. So, eventually it wasn't so severe that it threw me off dramatically.
Right, gotcha.
But once I understood what was going on in my brain, I understood you just have to read things 3 times. You have to read slower, and you have to use your, you got to be cognitive enough to know that this doesn't make sense.
Gotcha.
So, I was talking to another rapper homeboy of mine, and he was like, how did they diagnose you? Because he was diagnosed too. They call him early because instead of writing forever, he would write the number 4.
Gotcha.
And have stuff like that. So you find like little cheat codes and stuff. But yeah, it's common, but it is no excuse to fail.
And so how do you write now? As far as like when you say I don't write it down.
Yeah, it's out of the head. And then out of the head, I have to get it written down and then got to go back and memorize it. Yeah.
Damn. So how long does it take you to put together Michael the album?
Are you living like 2.5, 3 years, me and Cuz Lightyear over there in the corner who A&R'd it.
Cuz Lightyear, hello.
Yeah, shout out Cuz, man.
Why? Why did it take you 3 years?
I mean, because, it started, me and Cuz was working on a joint mixtape together, a Villains mixtape. And he was like, man, you got these old records. You've been wanting to do this for a while. He said, I'm going to just put my thing on pause. Because Cuz was at Mass Appeal. We had him over there. We was working on pushing the line for him. And he was like, man, I'm going to put my thing on pause, and we just going to work on your record. And when someone sacrifices they all good for the greater good of you, that's like that's a Christ-like thing to do. That's holy. So I had to take it serious. But the thing about it was we approached it from a different way. We recorded 39 records. We ended up using 15.
Gotcha.
But our whole thing was if the beat didn't move us in the first 30 seconds, we weren't wasting time trying to figure it out. We went in from 10 at night to 5 or 6 in the morning, like the third shift at work. I introduced myself to a new discipline. I didn't go on vibes or feelings. Once I got in that vibe feeling, but we was on a structure. We worked Monday through Fridays or Tuesday through Fridays. We was off on 2 or 3 day weekends. So I handled it like I was back at a job.
Right. It's like going into the office.
Yeah, and I knew naming it Michael, I knew that I was going to go personal. So, I realized running around that most people didn't have my experience. So a lot of times when I was talking, people thought I was talking aspirationally, and I wasn't. I wasn't talking about aspirational in terms of black power or, the power of black business or black politicians. I'm from Atlanta. All my heroes and villains look like me.
Yeah.
If my grandparents fought over a politician, you know what I'm saying? That my grandfather wasn't saying, oh, that white man. He was like, man, that nigga got that budget. And he ain't made it. So I got a chance to see that it really is the content of your character. So for me, I just wanted to show people this is where I'm from for real. When I do something for junkies, that conversation, with my aunt really happened. I remember feeling I made $10,000 a weekend. I thought I was Scarface, and she made me feel like a little boy, like a child. She was like, man, I ain't got to come to y'all. Shit, I done been with all the niggas y'all get y'all dope from. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, you get shamed. Your aunt started talking like that, and I just realized that there's a need for black men to be able to show that we're proud, that we are vulnerable, that we love, that we can accept love. There's a need for working class men to know that you valued, you cared about, and there's a need for the women who with them to understand that they cherish. I rap more about women on this record probably than any record whether it's my wife or my aunt, my grandmother, my mother. You know what I'm saying? Different people who influenced me. So this record, I think, I know is my best work, and it's a generational statement. It's the best rap album, and I think best album to come out this year.
Hey man, did you ever feel like you were going too deep? Because now when it comes, and not by now or the standards of hip hop, we're starting to see a lot of the microwave as opposed to putting something in the oven, baking it right, using the right ingredients and everything. Did you ever feel like you were probably going too deep, and were you hesitant to share that much at first?
Year-old man.
Yeah, man.
You gotta. I feel like this is the evolution of a kid who grew up listening to Cube and Pac, and Biggie, and I feel like KRS-One. This is what the music is supposed to evolve into. You know, you get my nephew just told me he got a girl pregnant, and I just shook my head, just like, man, just like you making the same mistake. Like I'm happy another child's coming to our family,
right?
But I'm just like, boy, the next 20 years gonna be hell for you, you know, and not bad, but just when you have a child, man, everything becomes about that child. You're not gonna get a chance to go to Barbados when you want to. You're gonna go when you can.
Yeah,
you're not gonna, you and this girl asking you gonna marry the girl? What you gonna do? You know,
how old is he?
He's 22 years old.
Yeah, man. I just had another conversation with my son yesterday. And it was like, and it's not about, man, don't get yourself in trouble that daddy can't get you out of.
Yeah.
But it's real. And it's crazy because when people say, oh, you know, he's older, whatever, there's just a different wisdom that come with age that's just beautiful.
Yeah, it's called experience.
Yeah.
It's called I effed up a lot. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And I tell my kids, I'm like, man, because there's people that I've known, Mike, for years that I didn't know I was going to have these long relationships with. Yeah. There's people that I know dirt on. There's people, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I tell my kids, I said, be careful because somebody's going to know something about you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the rest of your life,
That's my grandfather, man. Advice: don't embarrass me and your mama's name. Don't embarrass you know. But you got to, things happen. You apologize. But I didn't realize. You know, I was towing the line for so many people. You know, my show's in Atlanta. All my kids is there. Their mamas is there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like the whole family.
How many kids do you have?
I have 4 children.
Okay, so 4 children, man. What kind of dad is Killer Mike?
I'm like I press them to be the best they can be. Like that's my thing. It doesn't matter to be what you want to be. It matters to me that you want to be something. You know, my oldest son just came out here. He and his girlfriend hung out with Tony Hawk and went to the X Games. I remember buying him his first skateboard at 9 because I was on the road so much. And I remember Paul Rodriguez Jr. Just saying that his dad got him a skateboard. So I was like, yeah, I get you. And it developed into a lifelong passion for him. So that makes me happy. You know what I mean? My youngest son is he can rap, so I encourage him. You know,
how old is he?
My youngest son is 21.
I heard that.
I'm like, man, you can rap. You should be rapping. You pretty good. I'm like, your brother was awful.
Right,
yeah, he should keep skating.
Now for him, not so much.
Yeah.
For him, not so much.
He should stick to beatboxing and skating.
Right.
You know, my daughter, she my oldest daughter Naya, she did like her freshman year twice, and then I had realized I was pushing her wrong. Like she don't want to go to college. She wants to be involved in the industry by way of behind the scenes. She does makeup. She has a company called A Paint Shop. She's worked several videos, worked mine. You know, and my youngest daughter, Mikey, is 16, and you know, she just she's going into her junior year, and I'm just proud of her because that kid's smarter than me already, man. Yeah, she's one of me. We and her debate.
Can she do my taxes?
Yeah, I don't know if she can do your taxes.
I was just wondering when you said smarter than you. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, I can't do your taxes.
Right.
I got a great accountant, a tax lawyer.
I figure you do.
Yeah.
Now when you go from loving hip hop and you say, man, I listen to the greats.
Yeah.
When do you go from that?
Not loving hip hop, the show for people out there who listen. Yeah, I'm not on the show.
Yeah, he ain't throwing no drinks
I watch
on nobody.
It though. Shouts out to the Ratchet. You know what I'm saying?
But you have a love for hip hop.
I love it.
When do you go from having a love for hip hop to saying I could do this? Were you always writing?
I said at 9. Yeah, I started writing.
Did you know you was
I am the best. I rock the party from east to west. Yeah, I wanted to be it. I decided when a child shows that level of interest in something, parents be encouraging.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? My mama didn't put me in the studio. She go give me no talent. She just like, you want to rap? Hey, all my girlfriends over here smoking reefer. Come rap for them. You know what I mean?
Hey, man, I remember Mike being, you know, just my mom, it was like us, 7 kids, so it was 8, single parent household. And I remember, man, at one point we were homeless as a family. And I remember I told my mom, I said, I'm going to buy you a house.
Amen.
So you will never be evicted again.
Amen.
And I ended up buying her that house. But that day, man, she told me, she said, I know you will. Yeah. We're sitting in a motel, bro.
On,
you know what I'm saying? In reality, it's like, baby, go on with that shit. You know, that's reality.
Yeah.
Like, you know, let mommy figure this out. And I remember I said, Mom, I want to be an actor. She went and bought all these acting books for me. Like she believed in me.
Nothing is powerful.
Sometimes before you be
imagination.
Exactly, bro. And you gotta let them spread those wings and fly away.
Absolutely.
And so with her telling, 9-year-old Michael, like, yeah, go do that.
You could do it.
Yeah, man.
She let me go to the Fresh Fest. Me and El talking about that. His mom didn't let him go to the Fresh Fest.
Man,
my mom dropped me and my cousin off on the corner, like, y'all go in here, here your tickets. If you not now, I'm from Atlanta, missing the murder children to Atlanta, so it's still still a wild time.
Man.
My mom was like, if y'all little ass is not back out here after this show, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, so you ain't got nothing to worry about.
We was right there on the corner. I remember standing in the chairs, man, looking at fights, looking at Big Dookie Gold Chain. I was just like, wow.
We went to the one in Long Beach.
Yeah.
I went to the one in Fresh in Long. All I did, Mike, was just watch the scraps, like the squabble. Like, okay, it's coming over here. It's coming over here.
Exactly what we was doing.
Yeah, man.
We was up high. Shit, we was looking down like, man, like, dude got his chain snatched.
That's when you're like, man, I'm glad we don't have money for them tickets. Hell yeah. So you go from a spectator to being a part of it, man.
Yeah, man.
When do you feel like you started to get on?
By the time I was in high school, my man Gigi, and the two Terrences, one was T-Flow, one was DJ Glide. DJ's Glide dad is the guy who his stepdad's who I was rapping about when I said, shouts out to Terrence dad, I never hit your blunts, because that was the blow blunts. That was the dro blunts.
Right.
That was the geek joints. So his dad would roll the woo.
They get down on it.
Yeah, but we go to Glide's house and his mom would let us, they had equipment, and his mom would just let us record in his bedroom, you know what I mean? And then they was the first people that take me to a real studio, you know what I mean? I remember the first time after the studio session, the guy asked him, don't let me come back. And I was like, they was like, you just touched too much stuff. The same guy was crazy. I have the original demo tape, and the guy called me and said, man, I found y'all's tape. And I was like, dope. I went to pick it up, and he tried to press me. He hit me up. That was funny. He was like, you ain't got nothing for me. I said, you mean based on I already paid you for the studio time? We was kids.
Oh, he wanted some interest? And here's your tape back?
Yeah, I was like, man, don't make me rob you in your house. Give me my fucking tape. Don't do that. You know what I mean? Stop playing, man.
Like, man.
Like, we paid you $20 an hour. We did that.
Right.
Stop playing.
like this is mine.
Yeah, like, stop playing, bro. But it was shouts out to Brian, man. He gave me my tape, so I'm proud of myself.
Well, he probably didn't really just give it to you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was what you said, too. Like, man, come on. Aside from that $20 an hour that you got from kids, like, stop that shit. So when you feel like you getting on, how does the introduction to, like, Big Boi, Dungeon Family, T.I.?
I went to Morehouse. I got accepted into Morehouse, and I met Teeth Malloy. His real name is Encelo Reddick, and I met him. He was from Savannah. We were in Du Bois Hall. We were on the 4th floor. And I met him, and he was friends with Big Boi. They were best of friends growing up. And CeeLo's dad's an attorney. His mom's a teacher, just from a good, solid, middle-class background. And his little brother, James, was there, Morris Brown. So we all just was, man, like, hanging out, making music. And Big heard me in CeeLo's basement, heard me on one of the records. He was like, who was that? And CeeLo was like, that's Mike. And he was like, man, you good. He was like, I got something in the works. Like, I'm going to give you a deal. At that time, I had like 2 pounds of weed. I was like, I thank you. And I didn't gave up on the dream almost.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right.
But he called me back, man, like, like a year later, just like we got something. At first, they were at Electra with Slim Calhoun, and then they pivoted over to Columbia, and they took me to Columbia. And my life, I take my advance. I bought like 14 pounds of weed.
Nice.
And Big had
He said it took the advance. He was like, I don't know what this is going to be, but I know what this is.
Yeah, but Big had a talk with me when he found out. He was like, hey, man, are you going to be a rapper or a drug dealer? Right. You got to make a decision. You know what I mean? And he changed my life. That's why I'm so grateful for him to this day.
Hey, man, let me tell you my Big Boi story.
Yeah, let's do it.
Years ago, right, I hear that I was Big Boi. I hear that, rapper Big Boi, B-I-G-B-O-I.
Yeah.
And people was like, man, are you tripping off of that? And I remember telling people, and I've told Big Boi this story too. I said, man, I'm not tripping off of that, man. They ain't gonna last.
Oh, man. Outkast. Wow. Wow.
Hey, man.
You call that one wrong. That's like betting on the Utah Jazz against the Bulls. I made that mistake. I bet on the Jazz against the Bulls. I lost all my money.
Hey, man, that wasn't even Spence Crawford. At least that one people could understand. Like, hey, man, I thought like that was the wrong bet.
Yeah.
Like, oh, man, I ain't tripping off of that. They ain't gonna last. And I remember that one time when they was like, man, South got something to say, and y'all ain't stopped saying it since.
Stop saying
yeah,
it. Shouts out to the Dungeon family. Man.
Yeah, and I always tell Big Boi, I say, man, do you get any like social media like DMs for me? He was like, man, I get them all the time.
Yeah.
I get tagged into stuff where it's like, man, I'm a big fan, and I look and it's like, oh, that's Big Boi.
He's such a good dude, man. Him and his business partner Janice Faison got this new show where they go in and he owns like a trailer company. So when the movies shoot in Georgia, he has like Big Boi trailers. But him and Janice got this show where they like redoing people's sprinters and trailers and stuff. They did Shaq. They got me on an episode. I love Toyin, man. He was the first business-minded rapper I knew and met. Like, when everybody was in the pit bulls, I remember him serving and raising pits.
Yeah,
and his brother runs that now. Then they do like $80,000 dogs and stuff. I'm just like, man, you had foresight, bro. Like, but he was the first person that I saw, you know, just within close proximity, be about it, you know. And I'm blessed to be a little brother to him and really just kind of being next to him to see the moves he's
And he gave you early game.
Yeah,
man. Do y'all ever look at each other now? I'm pretty sure y'all had that peer conversation too.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's crazy where the knowledge come from.
Yeah.
And the tuition into the school of experience.
Yeah, man.
That you can get from someone.
I remember calling him at like 2, 3 in the morning once I had left. We had funked a little bit because I didn't really understand. You know, it was when they went to Virgin Records and they were like you know, they were like, it was Sleepy Brown, I think, Bubba Sparks. They were like, we're gonna focus on this and then and I just didn't have it in me to wait behind nobody.
Right.
You know, so I pivoted out. Me and Cuz and Grind Time Gang, Rap Gang, we started working on a series of mixtapes. But I remember when things just didn't explode how I thought they would, and realizing it's gonna be a longer tenure and journey. I remember having to call Big and just say, man, hey man, I apologize. Like,
you understood?
Like I understand. It couldn't have been easy. You trying to, cause me, Janelle Monáe, Bubba Sparks, Sleepy Brown, he's responsible for a lot of people and getting having a second chance or a chance at all. And man, that had to be a heavy burden when you know, your partners went off to seek and do new things and you left here. And you got to figure out these people who've promised life to you through contract. And I just, man, I sympathized. And I'm never too big to apologize. There's one thing about me. If I mess up, I'm gonna call you and say, hey man, I get it. I apologize.
Hey man, and you know what's crazy about that is you probably saw that when you became that guy too.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Because one of my partners shot me the same call. He was like, Big, I understand that.
Yeah, me and Cuz was sleeping on the floor.
Yeah,
and up in Gwinnett making the first Grind Time tape. You know what I mean? Everybody else would come late versus we would, us and Mazzetti, God bless, we'd be on the floor. Like I got it. I understood. I remember, man, the whole crew just sharing a box of chicken wings. You know, but I understood it. So I had to hear them and say, I get it. I understand. And now, man, we talk everything from music to business now. And I get better understanding from them. So,
Hey, man, with André coming aboard, André is one of those people everybody want, André 3000.
Yeah.
And he don't just give it away.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? And actually getting him on Michael, how does that come together?
We were in No ID executive producers project. So we were out working. We had flew out to start working with No ID to take essentially what was an amazing mixtape. We wanted to make the greatest album this year. And
you did, bro.
Yeah,
if people listen.
Yeah. Well, they seem to be listening. It's growing.
Man.
We went in, and it matters to me what Big and Dre think about my music because they gave me a chance.
Gotcha.
So I just called Dre to listen, and then he said the next day, he was like, hey, man, how can I bring some stuff through?
You're like, all right.
Yeah, like, run it. And he brought stuff through. He said, just pick what you want. And we picked 2. He took one back, gave me another that we got on in the files now. But that one, the scientists and engineers, I remember hearing it, just like, man, like, this is dope. And I just don't know how I'm a rapper, what I'm gonna do.
Mike, but you were ready too, though.
Oh yeah. But I gotta say I was inspired by Big Boi.
Gotcha.
Like that record, like the balance of Outkast, the beautiful balance of Outkast is the intricate, double timeisms and poetical stuff that Dre does was always offset by wicked patterns and hooks that Big would do. Like me and you, your mama and your cousin. Straight Big Boi. Big Boi just come to the studio, smoke a blunt, boom, and just. So I was like, I know I got to do patterns, especially when once Future got on. It was like, man. Future and Aaron Allen Kane doing the harmony thing. Dre got that quirky verse that's dope. I was like, I got to lock in on a pattern, man. I tried about 7, 8 times before I finally got it, and then it hit me. Like in the morning, I remember calling him and Will, my manager from Active, just like, I got it. Like I got it. I finally got it. But I had to get myself in a mentality like Big, like I know it's gonna be dope. And I had said some other dope verses, but this has to be. I'm third verse killer. I'm not finna play. You know what I mean? I gotta show up. I ain't never took no L.
Yeah.
That was my thing. Like I ain't finna get white.
Especially on mine.
Yeah, I can't get white. Cause Dre will come and watch me and walk away smiling, playing the flute.
And you know it's a trip. Digging in his beer like did that. Yeah. And you know it's a trip. Some people would even rest on I got this 3 Stacks verse.
Nah, you can't do that. Yeah. You gotta push yourself further, man. You gotta, if you get a yard, try for the extra inch. Give people they deserve that.
Right.
That's our cousin in the studio, and he was saying that the young boys had heard the record and they was like, man, we gotta work around skits and stuff. You hear what Unc did, you know what I mean? And it just meant the world to me to have like Damani, Tip's son, said this is the only album he can listen to all the way through. He get paid to come to the show. Having that impact on younger guys means something to me because that's the impact the guys I looked up to had on me.
Hey man, and you know one thing I enjoy about the album as well, Mike, is that you know how you hear something and you want another verse?
Yeah.
That's what you got. You want another verse. And man, not just lyrically, just the delivery, like everything was so in pocket, man.
Thank you.
Everything.
Man, me and Cuz worked meticulously.
You could tell, man. Yeah, you could tell. And especially, man, you know how there's some people you say, man, they work hard.
Yeah.
Like some people, you like, man, they gave a damn about
We did
this.
it like the third shift. I'm telling you, man, I was like, if I work third shift at UPS, I can work third shift there. Like, cause he had my nephew and godson, Bricks, had just been born, so his girl was, sis was doing her dental thing. She was at work during the day. Me and him was asleep during the day. He was babysitting, and then we'd get in at night. You know what I mean? So it's like I've learned more than anything over the past 3 years. Develop a discipline. Develop a discipline. It'll reward you.
How do you pick that up? Being 2 decades in, like how do you not reinvent yourself?
You got to constantly push. You got to say to yourself, how could I be better? You know what I'm saying? We used to eat candy all the time. Now cuz will come back with a fruit cup. You know what I mean? So it's like,
how can I be better?
Yeah, like
only in competition with yourself.
That's it. Just trying to be the best version of Michael I can be. And I knew we signed up to do 3 Michaels. So for my thing is, this is the first. So I got to go the next one. It got to be better. Yeah, it got to be even more close. It's like the Godfather 1 and 2.
Yeah, yeah. And people already got their arms crossed like, okay, he gave us the best. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
you ain't got the best of me yet. I got a lot of more experiences to give you.
Hey, with Run, why it doesn't say featuring Dave Chappelle? Like, you hear the voice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then when you go to the credits, it's like, okay, yeah, that is Dave.
I thought we had Dave's name in there, but Dave is just my partner. You know what I mean? He's like really developed to a friend. So he, after one of his shows, he just gave me a talking to. Like, Run, nigga, what is wrong with you? He's like, nigga, you ought to run for governor. I'm like, nigga, I'm trying to get paid like Dave. You know what I mean? He said those things to me for real. I was like, man, I like smoking weed, going to the flame. He was like, we don't care about that. We care that you honest,
Yeah, man.
So I called him to ask him to recreate it. He did. I appreciate him so much.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and when you hear it, you're like, man, and it's not Dave right here. It's like, like how he had that conversation with you.
Yeah, and I gotta tell people wondered why it ended up different on the record, like because it's Run, nigga, Run. And on the record said Run Better Run. And that wasn't any censorship or anything. It just came from my grandmother. My grandmother talked like that. She said, you'd be like, Mom, I'm late. She said, Run, better run, because I ain't taking you nowhere, So it just makes me think about Beatrice. Betty, my girl Betty.
Is that her in the picture? Betty, is that Mom's on the other side?
That's Denise.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Denise's son. Look at this, man. This is me. That's the only tattoo I have.
Hey,
that's
man,
Ida's
come
son.
on, man. That's
so, when I heard...
boy. That what they
my production coming, everything's called Ida's son.
Yeah, that's dope.
You know what I'm saying? And with me with Ida's son, that's why I was telling you, like, Motherless to me, bro, that's like written... You know how somebody would do something and you're like, man, they did that for me.
Absolutely,
that's the way I felt when Kanye did, like, his hey mama, yeah. So that was one of those where I was like, I felt a deeper connection with that one.
Yeah,
was that not difficult to write?
Oh yeah, it was. I didn't even want to do the record.
Why?
And I was done. Because my mama dead, man.
Yeah,
like for real. I never said the words. Yeah, I never even said the word. I say she transitioned. She was the ancestor. And Dion kept pushing the line. He was like, "What are you afraid of?" I said, "Well, I already faced my feelings. My mama and my grandmama gone. I had gave him the motherless child sample, and then I was like, I don't like it. So he redid it right there in the studio. And I remember going in the booth and it played. I said, my mama's dead. My grandmama's dead. I started crying.
Yeah,
and rapping.
And you hadn't said I
had never said
but you hadn't vocally on the audible side said something like that.
I never said.
When did your mom pass?
My mom passed 6 years ago. My grandmother passed 11 years ago.
Hey, man, and that's and for anybody that still have their parents, beautiful.
Yeah.
But that's a hell of a club to be
you'll
in.
never get it. My grandmother died at 79 years old in my arms, and she missed her mother to the day she died.
Yeah, man.
So I realized it don't never go nowhere.
Hey, man, when we were talking about, I understand, like with Big Boi, with your family, so on and so forth, I remember rolling one day, and I was at my off-ramp, about to get off the off-ramp, right? And when I got off the off-ramp, I just start crying. And I remember, dude, I was talking to my mom, and I said, damn, I understand. Like in the moment,
I get it.
I understood like, and I never took my mom for granted. Like my mom was like, when I got Ida's son, my mom was here.
Yeah.
You know, I love my mom every day when my mom was here. You know what I'm saying?
Me and Denise had an interesting relationship.
Really?
She was only 16 years older than me, so
yeah.
it was kind of like big brother, a big sister, little brother too. You know, because her mom raised me. That's what the second verse when I say, my mama dead, her mama dead. Her mama died in my arms. My mom said it wasn't fair. Her mama raised me. I told her she crazy. She told me one day I'm gonna be gone, Michael. You gonna see that my mama wanted you, but you belong to me, and you don't understand the sacrifice that took from me. I remember after she died, reading the story of Solomon, and in the story of Solomon, 2 women come before this Hebrew king, and they say, you know, this child is mine. And he said, well, cut the child in half and give each a half. And the mother, who really was the mother, said, no, give my child to him. And man, I realized, that girl, she made a sacrifice. Yeah. You know, she wasn't led by ego, and she knew her parents were gonna do a better job. And I wish I could call and say thank you.
Had you had that conversation
with her?
Ever?
Yeah, I have altars in my house. I pray. And
That's the main thing I do.
But I told her before she left. I said, me and my sister say you did the right thing. Right. Yeah. You know,
we understand.
Yeah, we'd have been over here eating junk food and drinking Kool-Aid with you. You know what I mean? But our grandparents took very good care of us. You know?
Hey man, and every morning I get up, I got a picture of my mom, man, and it's not false idols, none of that stuff. But like that's the first person I talk to.
Nah, remember your ancestors? Yeah, absolutely. It ain't no fault. Yeah, it's like if you look at other cultures. You know, and you read the Bible, people honor. You know, people have a lineage. They honor it. You have a lineage. Honor that. Yeah, you chosen. You a chosen people. You Earth's original people.
Amen.
You know what I mean? That's what the Most High Elijah Muhammad Mr. Farrakhan taught me in my brief time in dealing with that. Like, hey, man, you are Earth's original people, so you have a history too, and you should honor that. You know, I know who my great-grandparents' parents were. You know what I mean? So my family is very big on that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, absolutely. You should have something in your house that reminds you. Dr. Francis Cress Wilson talked about that. The most important thing you can do in a black household in particular is have huge images of black people, your people, in your home. So, absolutely, man.
Oh, yeah, man. It's my mom and my brother Keith. Rest in peace.
Absolutely.
Got to. And I remember, man, I tell people, you know, and growing up, you know, there's like radio was the first job I ever had in my life. You know what I'm saying? That was the first job. So, of course, there was just other things, you know what I'm saying? Survival.
Yeah.
And I remember, man, when my mom passed, Mike, and I tell people the same thing, man, it seemed like my life just started to get navigated differently.
It gets better. When my grandmother died, rap music comes out. Rap music is heralded as a classic record. Then Run the Jewels starts. On a 10-year run. My mother dies as we're coming back from a Run the Jewels trip. But with each ancestor you gain more energy and power. You know what I mean? The energy can't be gone, their physical body gone, but your mama want good for you. So and all that love is prayer still here.
I say, man, it's like I have the best representative sitting next to God.
Come on, man.
And that's in everything. That's like, you know, do this for him, look out for him here. Even in my past relationship, I know my mom had to be like, show him something to get him away from this.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I was just, it's there. That's why, man, with Motherless, bro, it connected with me.
Glad it does.
Totally different. But also, I was telling Jose, I was like, man, this dude, that Michael album is like, it's like not a roller coaster, but you hit everything. If you want to go to the club, it's there.
Shit.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And what's crazy about talking that shit, it's a diss record to people who be talking shit to me. You know what I mean? Like,
and the best way to get them back, though.
Yeah. I ain't got nothing to say to you.
Right.
Now people talk shit on Twitter, I just send them the record. There you go.
Yeah.
There's your answer.
You know? Listen to this, because you're here anyway.
Yeah, I'm just, man, I'm on a mission.
Yeah,
you know
man.
I mean? I can't be distracted.
And I always say, man, like you covered the enoughs. Like it's gangster enough, political enough, club enough, street.
It's me.
Boom.
It's genuinely me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's genuinely me. You know, people act like you got to be either or. That's why I say, man, the people I looked up to, the Ice-T's, the Ice Cubes, the Scarface, they were gangster, but they were intelligent, fiercely intelligent.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And that's what I've never separated the two. You know, you can't be no dumb gangster. You just gonna be an inmate,
right?
You know what I mean? Yeah, fuck that. You know what I mean?
Hey man, and you just named like 3 of my favorite MCs.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, my favorite MCs, man. I grew up like Ice-T come in, man. I can quote Ice-T lyrics to him that he don't even remember he wrote.
Let me tell you something, man. Ice, one of the best parts of my life is the fact that Brad Jordan, Scarface,
yes, sir,
Ice-T, and Cube text me.
Yeah,
I can text the homies like, hey man, what do you think of this?
Hey man, I've known Cube for years, and I texted him yesterday, and I still trip out like, dude, I know Cube.
Yeah, the 12-year-old me is going crazy, like fool, this Cube, you know. So I just, man, I'm blessed, and I'm through, and I mean blessed in all the trials and the triumphs. You know, I think that ultimately that's what I've learned over the course of the last 20 years, that just one foot in front of the other every day.
Yeah, man.
You know, like I'm at the peak of a mountain now, and that's fine. But because I know I got to walk back down this mountain into another valley and go back up another mountain to get Michael too. You know what I mean? So I'm prepared for it. I've been forged, you know, in the fire, you know.
Hey, man, will you ever think about, or I don't know if it's the powers that be, will you ever do another television show, bro?
Yeah, of course. I love TV. But right now there's a strike. I'm definitely in solidarity with the writers and the actors. And so
man.
I just passed, you know, a lot
of
them.
Man, that trigger warning.
It was crazy.
How many episodes did you do?
I think it was just 6. They wanted, you know, we talked about coming back, man, but I was working, they were paying me Negro money, man. I was like, boy, y'all got me out here sitting in my truck for a dressing room. But I
can only do so much for the culture.
Yeah, I had a great time. I had a great time.
Hey, man, it looked like it too, man. The Crip-a-Cola.
Yeah.
Man, and if y'all don't know that, man, it was where you took the Crips and you made them entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
And it was like real Crips and real business, though.
Yep. I got to give, man, one of them in particular, Yayo, he has Cash Crop Clothing. Y'all check him out. But he's an amazing streetwear designer. Like he's just, you know, he's married, he got kids. Yayo gave up the street stuff when he got a job driving, you know, at Kroger while he builds his company, and I'm proud of him. We found out later we're loosely related. We're both renders. But I just, man, I'm so proud of him. I just hit him out of nowhere sometimes to encourage him because I know it's going to happen for him.
Yes, sir.
Don't know when it's going to happen, how, but I know it is. So, you know, once you wake up an entrepreneurial spirit in somebody's mind, it doesn't stop. I know a 79-year-old man who's never worked. You know, brother in the nation. That brother's always figured it out. Whether he's selling ice cream or chicken sausages but what he says, I'm not gonna report to nobody and ask. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make it on my own. But I had fun making the Crip-a-Cola and the Blood Pop because I just want to show people the potential. Like when you take the limits off yourself, man, your potential is exponential. There's nothing you can't sort or figure out doing.
And then why not? Why not us? Why can't it be? Yeah. Hey, man, and the one time when you were sitting down talking to the kids and the little white kid went to cut and respectfully.
Hey, man, some people got pissed about that. I was
I loved it,
I was like, the kid get it,
this
man.
This what you doing.
I'm just like, we teasing, man. You know what I mean? Like, no more kids. Man. You know what I mean? You have to. I'm satirical. Like, I grew up watching a lot of George Carlin, you know, Bill Hicks, you know, Paul Mooney. So you know, you gotta have some fun.
I thought it was perfect.
Yeah, I thought so too. It was cute. You know, the kids' feelings weren't hurt, man.
Hey, man, we're about to get back into a political year.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, and we see this, Mike. We see this coming on. You know, there's a Trump 2024. I don't know what the Democratic Party is going to look like. I don't know what the Republican Party is going to look like. Are you geared up for what we're about to see in the next year or so again?
I'm gonna smoke dope and look at this soap opera, but my focus is hyper local.
Exactly.
We got Raphael Warnock elected. We got John Ossoff elected. We got Mayor André Dickens elected. André Dickens has particularly paid 2 things that were important for me for him to become mayor and for those 2 senators to get elected. Affordable housing, which an old housing project, Bowen Homes, is about to be redeveloped into a mixed use of permanent housing and some rentals. They got that federal funding down, so it showed me that all my work to get Ossoff and Warnock elected was really worth it, and we have a mayor that's committed to that. And the other thing is, there's Commissioner Ted out in DeKalb County who's a Bernie-crat who he helped get in office. So for me, my work is hyper local.
You said Bernie-crat?
Yeah, he's a Bernie-crat. So he's a progressive. So
yes, sir.
My work is hyper local. I'm more concerned about Chief Judge Asha Jackson's Pinnacle program in DeKalb County. Our Republican governor, Brian Kemp, saw the success of that program by a Democrat as a judge, black woman. He appointed another black woman named Miss Ali over the Georgia Public Defenders Council to emulate that same program statewide to end recidivism. Usually you get out of jail, you get $25 in the same clothes you came in with. This program is helping people to come out and end the recidivism of going back in. Now, as a Republican governor who sees the success with a Democratic judge and appoints another black Democratic woman to run it. So that's local politics. That's
because we don't see that.
Yeah. Well, you don't because you're not. That's why I don't listen to a lot of criticism from people outside Georgia. You're not in my state. You're not in my city. You know, you've never even seen politics work and how the nuance it works within Atlanta, Georgia. So when you be texting me and typing me, I don't be giving a shit.
And that's what I say too, man. I say, man, I got to start, and we've said this before, you know, my block, my city, my community. Yeah.
My grandmother taught me your 10 neighbors to your left and right. That's where you start organizing. You know, if the sanitation wasn't picking up trash, she'd go to city council meeting. If city council wasn't here, then she'd go sit at the mayor's office and somebody came out.
Is that where that came from?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I was too young not to do it. I was 5 years old.
And you had to go with her?
Yeah, I'm at a skirt tail. I'm Andy Young. You know, my grandfather was a bigger. Andy is a friend and a mentor now. My grandfather was a bigger supporter of Maynard Jackson. Maynard Jackson was Atlanta's first black mayor.
Yes, sir.
And he set a 30% precedent where if you wanted to do business with the city, you had to have 30% involvement and ownership from African Americans or minorities. So he set that up, and it grew the black middle class. His grandfather was a man named John Wesley Dobbs, who had created a black economic strip in Auburn Avenue and Edgewood Avenue, where one of my swag shops on Edgewood. So it's a protracted struggle. Doesn't all happen in one strike. It's just something you continue to do. So absolutely, my grandfather taught me, you know, you support, keep your dollar in your community as long as you can. They told me to help your neighbors, and they told me, you know, be active locally. You know what I mean? And that's what I've done.
Is that why you choose to stay where you are and also build out and the developments that you have?
Yeah, I stay 15 minutes from the neighborhood I grew up. I just bought my daughter a house in the same neighborhood I grew up in, behind my sister. My other sister lives in my grandfather's house. The one we grew up in, my grandmother's house, my other sister lived there. I'm buying all 4 of my children's houses in the same neighborhood. Because it's important. It's important. You know, my grandfather.
Why not take the money and run?
I mean, for what you gonna run to?
Somewhere they don't want you?
Yeah, nigger. You know what I mean? I don't want to.
Yeah, who are you to be equal to?
My wife and I stayed in Sandy Springs, Georgia, north. And I remember I was telling her, like, we got to move back. You know, we got to move back. And she was like, why? I was like, because these folks don't like each other. They can't like us. Right. We smoke weed, play music all day. They can't like us. We don't go to work. I was like, baby, they don't like us.
Like you going to work, you're just not leaving out the door.
Yeah, I'm like, baby, they don't
on the daily.
Yeah, but I prefer living, you know, close to where I grew up.
Really though, and as you should, man. Isn't it important to also continue to invest in the community? And you got to keep them dollars in the community as long as you can.
Yeah, there's a line that people, you know, I'm not from New York or from Los Angeles and stuff, or you know, rent control and stuff like that. So, you know, I can do 2 things. I can believe that, you know, rent shouldn't be exorbitant and crazy, which is why we didn't raise our rents during COVID. I didn't charge my barbers, you know, booth rents during COVID. We shut it down. Just say, hey, when we come back, y'all don't owe us nothing. But the thing is, I started to invest in real estate, rent out some stuff, and you know, people said, you know, he said he's a landlord. I read one review. He said he's a landlord. I said, I am. My grandfather, we were able to go on vacation. We were able to have things because my grandfather never sold his original house. And he made us promise when he died that we would leave the tenant in there. We wouldn't take her rent up and stuff, when we did until she died. But my question becomes, do you want Berkshire Hathaway to own your neighborhood? Or do you want other people who are from the neighborhood to own? See, because where I'm from, black folks would buy a house. That was their first house. They'd buy another house, maybe a big house, and they would rent out. So you knew your landlord. Your landlord literally might live next door to you. You know what I mean? And when it came time to finally sell, or they wanted to sell, they gave you first option. Hey, I think I'm tired of it. Do you want it? You know what I mean? So the question becomes, now the houses are going to get bought.
Right.
The apartment complex is going to get bought. Do you want someone from the community who understands the nuance of the community, or do you want Berkshire Hathaway? Which I don't got no problem with Warren Buffett, you know, making money, but he owns all of the West End now. So the same houses that were 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80,000 are $300,000, $400,000 now. You can't afford to live there no more.
Right.
So that's Lil Baby's neighborhood.
Wow.
So all this is on the West Side. So the question becomes for me, when you try to attack me for being, you know, having the good sense to invest, to reinvest, like Roxanne Shante says, the only way to fight gentrify is to re-gentrify. As a rapper, when you get money, you don't have to live there, but buy something there.
Right.
So that someone else can live there. So, you know what I mean? Tip built 143 units of affordable housing. He bought the old Kmart, tore it down, put up $143 million, his own money. He did that. You know what I mean? So my shit is like, if you got $1 million and you got a better way, show me. But if you don't, shut up.
Right? Yeah,
you ain't doing
get
shit.
out the way of people that's doing it.
Yeah, that's it. And that doesn't come from a place of arrogance. That comes from a place of, I've seen this shit go down.
Yeah.
I'm in other parts of the country. The house that I bought my daughter for $165,000, I'm probably gonna put $40,000, so about $205 into renovating. That house is $1 million house in Los Angeles.
Oh yeah.
So the price is just gonna keep going up. Why wouldn't I do that? Why wouldn't I buy right where I grew up, where the housing market never quite fell all the way? So my thing is like, you better get intelligent. I'm gonna just tell black men in particular, and the black women that love them, man, don't let these folks shame you. I've been around the world. And on communist countries, you in the bottom. Socialist countries, you at the bottom. Democratic socialist countries, you at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
What this country is brutal and as fucked up it can be, it gives you opportunity. It gives you an opportunity, a chance. Just give me a chance.
Yeah.
That's it. Just give me a chance. You know what I mean? And because, I just got the deed to my great-grandparents' property that they bought in 1948. We still own the farm in Tuskegee, Alabama. We going down in a few weeks, me and my sisters. They about to parcel out the land, see what we got. But what made me proud is that they sharecropped to buy it. They sharecropped to save their scraps to buy it. And both my great-grandparents' names was on the deed. It wasn't just my grandfather, great-grandfather. It wasn't just N.H. Blackman. It was Truzella Blackman right there next to him. And that's how I run my business with my wife.
I heard that.
So for me, I'm a businessman in the real sense. So I'm not trying to finesse or finagle or use, but I'm not gonna miss opportunity because idealistically you don't agree. I remember arguing with this college professor guy. So light-skinned nigga want me to come on his show. I'm like, nigga, I'm not coming on your fucking show to help you grow. Because I asked him, who's he going back and forth? I say, do you own a house? I'm from the South. That nuance can't be missed. My granddad said, you ain't a man if you don't own no land.
Mm-hmm.
You don't own nothing. You know what I mean? As I'm talking to him, he got so offended. And I was like, yeah, he don't own shit. And it's no disrespect to him, but it's like, you this old man. You got all this goddamn gray hair now. You 50-something years old. You've never invested enough to leave something for your children. Think about that. How many black children get left with nothing? They have to keep restarting the game. So like, if that's your hype, that's your hype.
Yeah.
But that ain't the hype I'm on. I still own the land of my great-grandparents. I still own the land of my grandparents. When I die, my great-great-grandkids gonna have something from me. I'm planting seeds for trees I'll never see grow.
God.
So however a nigga feel about it, that's fine. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna waste a chance of the opportunity because my grandparents did. My great-grandparents did. So the precedent that I have before me, I've read Franz Fanon. I've read the Marxist theories. I read all that shit. And when I go to the countries where they were, we poor. We on the ground. We in the dirt. So the question becomes, what you gonna do with the opportunities this brutal ass country give you?
Right.
That's
it. Hey man, and that right there is really a bar too. And the reason why I say that is because I'm in a position too, Mike, where I'm like, if I don't take care of my kids, and it ain't about privilege, but what is it going to cost later as well too? Like, what is it going to cost, man? Nothing is going down.
Yeah.
Everything, especially out here, man, what used to be neighborhoods that we grew up in, bro, they don't even want us in them neighborhoods anymore. And so-called can't afford to be there. Yeah. Walking dogs and that's cool. But yeah, I really think about not what I'm doing, man. What are my kids going to do?
Exactly. I done had everything I wanted. You know what I mean? I just So now it's not. None of this is about me.
Yeah, you living for other people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man.
And as a man, the men in my family, you are responsible and accountable to them and to your children and to your woman. And some of the men in my family to their women. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but my uncle worked for the city, had to work harder. He had two families. You know what I mean? Ideologically, I argued and, man, I was with everybody coming up at the same time, but everybody not going to come to the dock and get on the boat.
Yeah.
But don't miss it. Don't miss it. Don't miss an opportunity if you have one. You know what I mean? Don't do that because opportunities are so few and far between some places that when you get one, you owe it to whoever's coming after you.
What do you feel about hip-hop today? Are we paying attention?
I love it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I love it. I love the super lyrical, empirical, lyrical. I love the bubble jumble. I love it.
Right.
Because we won. I remember they said this wasn't going to be around but 2 years.
Yeah, we celebrating 50.
Yes, 50 years. We won. So I love it. Every song ain't for me. Every movement ain't for me, but I support it. Because every rapper you see usually is representing easily 5, maybe as many as 20, 25 jobs.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Responsible for
exactly.
Right?
You know what I mean? I didn't man. I was tired yesterday. I didn't want to do my taping, but I look at these 5 people I've asked to come out and sing with me. I look at my DJ who got my little DC pool and his, who's been with me 13 years. I look at Bear Ronda, because it's like, man, I can't afford to be tired. I sleep afterwards, but now I got to work.
Right.
I got to work. I'm responsible for for that. And I think that's ultimately, people trying to be bosses to tell people what to do. I want to be a leader. I want to be a part of a team that takes us all higher, that plateaus up. So for me, it's important.
And it's crazy how you could pay homage to someone before you, and then there's somebody else that's looking at you. Yeah. Like when we say we celebrating 50 years of hip hop, you there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You there, bro. And when we first sat down, I told you, I said, man, I feel so good how you represent us.
Man, thank you so much.
You know what I'm saying? Like
thank
anytime I see you, I'm like, oh, we good.
Yeah.
We good, man. And sometimes, man, people don't want to swing the camera and the mic to the intelligence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But again, the guys I saw were intelligent. Chuck D.
Oh, yeah.
KRS One.
Yes, sir.
Face. You know what I mean? Like say TQ. Like I saw intelligence in a T-shirt and a fitted cap.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of, I'm gonna tell you, man, there is a stigma on big black men.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not security.
Right.
I'm not somebody you just gonna, you gonna handle as though I'm an afterthought, and I press the line to let people know I'm intelligent because it's cool to be intelligent.
Yes, sir.
I want kids to understand it's cool to be smart, man. Don't be dumb. That's why, I said, rolling with my niggas, rich niggas, these is my nigga rolls. Jesus was a nigga, my nigga.
Mm-hmm.
I got to the fresh line. I said, you still watching? I said, nigga, I said, what I say? I said, fuck. I said, I was really, what was it? Rolling with my niggas, rich niggas, these is my nigga rolls. Jesus was a nigga, my nigga. Killed them, my nigga rolls. I know you love me running the Jews, but these my nigga flows. Love them like that dumb spit pimp love that nigga hoe. And that's word to Michael and Fresh. The realest niggas know. That's the movie niggas should watch. Fuck Scarface and Blow. We still talking New Jack City. That's why us niggas po. I opened Greenwood and showed niggas that we is more than sticking green under the beams and mama's wooden flow. And that's for real. Like that movie Fresh, if you have any semblance of intelligence, watch that movie with a young black boy and show them what intelligence will do. That 12-year-old child named Michael in that movie Fresh, to me, was better than any Scarface, any Blow, any New Jack City. And I love all those other movies too. They were good movies to watch and be entertained by. But I lived that 12-year-old boy's life. The same people I was looking up to at 10 years old in church was the same people asking me for dope when I was 12. You get what I'm saying? You got to navigate at 12 years. I remember going to the dude at Temple like, hey, man, you paying the older dudes, you paying them $250 off every $1,000 bomb. So $1,000 bomb is $1,000 worth of dope. You paying them $250. So essentially you giving them a quarter off every 4 quarters they sell. I said, what the fuck you just give us $140 to $170 for? I said, in fact, they was giving us $140.
And how old are you?
I'm 12. 13. I'm 13. So I said, I'm like, man, what you? I'm like, look, we not even gonna tell nobody. Just pay us give us $170. Don't do me like that, man. Nigga told us, fuck us. You take it or you leave it. I took it. We never went back. Yeah, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like
when I say I take it, I take it.
Yeah, I took it. Like, you know what I mean? Because I wasn't dumb. You know what I mean? And I saw how the world treated you when you were dumb. And I never envied that. I never wanted to be that. The world's so brutal on dumb people.
Yeah, man.
It's brutal. It's hard, man.
Have you, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but have you ever walked into a room and people misjudged you?
All the time.
Panel.
Again,
room,
they just want you to be big, black, and scary, or big, black, and dumb. You know what I mean? It's like that. I can't control how your point of view or perspective on me. Yeah. All I can do is present the truest depiction of me.
What do you say when people say? And I know you heard this. Oh, you speak so well.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, my grandma didn't let me do anything else.
Right.
I can still talk like I'm from Atlanta. Drunk I get, the slum I get.
Yeah.
You hear the west side of Atlanta.
But it's crazy, and the reason why I say that is because I'm not supposed to?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a choice. Beatrice wasn't with it.
I heard that.
Beatrice wasn't with that shit. She wasn't with it. You gonna talk like you got some sense, or you gonna get hit. So I comply. Yes, ma'am. I got you.
Hey, man, there's sometimes, Mike, where I see you speaking, even today, and I was like, damn, what did that mean? No, I was just but you know what I'm saying? And then, like I say, bro, like I love what you do, and not just on the activist side or like you're a ball of everything, not a ball of confusion, and not a walking contradiction. You just represent everything so well, bro. And that's why I can show you in my text when it was like Killer Mike for next week. All I put was yes.
Oh, man, I appreciate you. I was so excited to know I'm coming up here, man.
Bro.
I'm a fan. I be watching. Like, I just like, man, one day I'm going to get up there with my guy, man.
And with you too, man, fan first. And I'm so glad we had a chance to sit down and talk on it, man.
As am I.
Believe that. And if you want me to come on out and do a couple songs with you tonight.
Yeah, come on, let's do it. Y'all come out, man.
But I'm telling you, man, like after hearing the entire Michael album and really living with it, I was like, I gotta see this.
Yeah, please do.
I gotta see this.
Now, the album is an audio movie. You start, you hit play, and you give it 53 minutes. The show is the show is like a play. It's like Tony Award winner. Like you gonna see the songs come to life in a different way.
And when you say you got a choir with you too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Midnight Revival.
Hey, man, I saw also just social. I don't do a lot of social media, but I tapped in on you, and you was with this Caucasian dude. And you was like, he knew you from Bill Maher.
Yeah. Greg. Shouts out to Greg.
It's crazy how how some people like, how did you come to the party kind of situation?
Yeah.
And did he go to the show that night?
Yeah, he came. Greg came through, man.
I love how you said Greg.
Yeah. Shouts out to my man. Shouts out to Bill too. Bill hit me the other day.
Bill Maher?
Man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Bill's a friend. He we argue points. That's my guy though.
Yeah, man. Hey, man. And
have friends that don't agree with you. I'm gonna tell you that too. If all your friends agree with you all the time, y'all, somebody lying or a sucker,
Right.
Have people around you that challenge your thoughts, and that's one thing. Again, I know they give my man a hard time, but I appreciate it about Cube. He will have a conversation with anybody. I really respect that. Like, I'm a black man, I'm not scared of nobody, especially if I'm a black man who's been successful as him.
Right.
He's been in rooms where they was trying to a record deal. They were trying to rape and take. Give you a car. So,
right.
Like I remember talking to Jermaine. Jermaine said, man.
Dupree?
Yeah. Okay. Shouts out to Jermaine, the OG. But he said, man, you didn't sign that deal with whatever the company was he was at Richard Branson. He said, not Richard Branson. Richard Branson, he said, Virgin.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, you didn't sign. He said, man, he was gonna give you like $120K and a car. I said, yeah. Shit turned out okay for me now. I'm a millionaire. I can buy the car I goddamn want to.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Like, but at the time, folks thought I was insane,
to turn it down?
To turn that down. You know what I mean? Because, that's a lot of money. You know what I mean? To invest, to do whatever. And it was at the time, the Charger was the hottest thing on the street. But I'm like, I knew I was worth more. You know what I mean? I knew I made $120,000 last week.
Right.
I get paid that to speak, though.
Yeah.
I don't even have to rap. I just go, show up, talk. I did do a speech on free speech, walk away with 100 bands. So,
Damn, I heard that. But you also got something to say, and I can't go do that. You know what I'm saying? They were like, man, what was Big talking about? It'd be pure play.
I got a good speech up from the FIRE organization. Check it out. It's about First Amendment. That's why I don't take to disrespect with the people I grew up. I saw someone say something about me, Q, Luther Campbell, and I said to myself, if it weren't for Luther Campbell, your black ass couldn't be on Twitter saying what the fuck you want to say.
Right, man.
Because he fought for our First Amendment rights versus Broward County.
Yeah.
If it weren't for Ice Cube, I wouldn't have got radicalized. I never would have read the autobiography of Malcolm X. I never would have got as deep into the teachings that I got into, So my thing is, whether I agree or not, I'm not going to disrespect because I know what's brought me here. Somebody said they didn't see Q as a civil rights leader. I'm like, you out your goddamn mind. You was crazy. Crack had the world upside down in 88, 89, 90. A black child got killed by a Korean store on here. Yeah. If Q would have talked about it, who was going to talk about it?
Yeah, man.
Because the news wasn't going to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, dude, that was my first march.
Yeah, exactly.
That was my
and
first
then
march.
as I look at the same people, I say where y'all was, 12, 15 years ago when me and Big Boi was down in South Georgia trying to make sure they didn't kill a boy out of Savannah. They still ended up electrocuted, but I didn't see none of y'all there. I got a guy from the military. He had got radicalized. They finally called him nigger. He went in the military gung ho, and then he went super badass black shit. I'm like, man, you just me at 15. I get you. I understand what you're saying, but you're not ready. You're not ready to do what you say you're doing. You don't grow food. You're not doing what Kwame Ture told us to constantly be in a state of organized. That don't mean he would agree with everything I did, but I'm constantly with organizers and mobilizers and trying. So, just if everybody do a little bit, nobody got to do a lot. What is the little bit I want to do?
Say that again, bro.
If everybody does a little, no one has to do a lot. I'm just responsible for my little. That's what I realized. Your ego will take you into, I ran with Bernie Sanders because I believed that if I got to pay extra taxes, let it go to educate this country's children, building infrastructure, and not building more missiles to bomb more innocent people. But the minute you take him off the table and you pivot, now I'm going to protect myself.
Right.
I'm not going to give you that extra 20 cents. I'm going to give you this tax attorney, and we're going to figure it out because you chose to do something else. You as and black people have to get more politically nuanced. I love us to death, but we care so much about national politics. Most people can't name their city council person. They can't name their wards or commissioners. They can't name the judges that get elected. They can't name who the chief of police is in terms of who the mayor appoints. Like, all this stuff is important. My grandmother taught me that. And if you're not doing that, like, don't ask me who I'm voting for president. You can't tell me who your city council person is.
Gotcha.
I don't want to hear shit you
Hey, man,
say.
that's what I tell people, too. I'm like, man, January 1st, so many laws get put in because we didn't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Why the potholes in your street not being fixed? Because you don't know.
Man, and you're not gonna win every race. Like Lord knows, man, I'm people got upset, I bet, with Governor Kemp around the trades programs in Georgia. I took a picture with him. Niggas who not from Georgia got mad and shit. I'm like, nigga, I don't give a fuck what you saying. I'm trying to get black boys are not going to college. So who my daughter gonna marry?
Right.
Who gonna take care of her? Who gonna take care of her, whenever she decides to have children? So even though you didn't like what I did, he just reinstated the Hope Scholarship in Georgia, and he expanded it to trade schools. So now if you got a B average in high school, you go to college for free. You get to go to state schools for free. So you tell me I wasn't supposed to have that meeting? Kiss my ass. You know how many black boys gonna get a chance to go to Atlanta area tech? Gonna get a chance to learn welding, plumbing, barbering. You get what I'm saying? That's gonna be marriable. Now our daughter's got somebody to go to, so I don't, I can't waste time thinking about what you think of me. There was an Emmy-nominated actress out here. God bless her soul, and I'm with her. She's in solidarity with the people that strike, and I am too. But she said she's going to use her platform to take me down.
Oh wow!
And I was like,
who was it? No, just
nobody studied. God bless her soul. I just won an Emmy. So I'm just like, when you get in the club, I'll be here to greet you.
Right.
And I already won a Grammy. But what she didn't understand is you live in Los Angeles, honey. You don't live in the Deep South. Yeah. We haven't had a Democratic governor in Georgia since they changed the state flag. Since they changed the state flag from the rebel flag, we have not had a Democratic governor. So them people in South Georgia, North Georgia took that shit serious. And what's crazy, the flag they put up there is still the Confederate flag.
Right.
Just so it's like these people thinking when you're not thinking, they thinking when you're sleeping. There's a book called The Devil You Know by Charles Boyle. I encourage people to read it because it encourages people, 54% of African Americans still live in the South. It encourages you to move back south into the cities where you can be politically and economically dominant. You should move to Birmingham, Mobile, Atlanta, Charlotte, Jacksonville, Charleston, Tampa. You should be targeting something in those places. You know what I mean? Because that's where you go. That's where you strong at, just to be frank. But if you're not thinking like that, I can't have no conversation with you. Dr. John Henry Clark said, I only debate my equals, everybody else I teach. So shouts out to the Emmy-nominated actors. When you ready for class, I'm here.
There it is, man. Killer Mike, thank you for coming into the neighborhood, brother.
Man, thank you for having me.
Michael is a great body of work. I say it again and again and again, man. And God willing, we'll do it again.
Well, absolutely. Love and respect.
There it is, man.
Oh, check out my show. I got a TV show called Love and Respect, too.
Yeah, what is Love and Respect? I got to tap in.
Scott Carter, who co-created Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher in Real Time with Bill Maher. Scott told me 5-6 years ago, you should be on TV interviewing people and doing a show. And we won the Emmy for an interview I did with Bernice King, Dr. King's youngest daughter.
Jesus Christ.
So that show, Love and Respect, comes on PBS. I think we're at 60 or 70% on the public broadcasting markets, and I encourage people to check it out.
Love and Respect.
Yep,
I'm on it, man.
I appreciate you, bro.
Killer Mike in the neighborhood, Big Boy's neighborhood.